All right, Chelsea fans, we're back. Another video. That's right. We're going to be talking about Mason Mount. That's right. Lampard's son, Tuchel's son, potentially Potter's son, Gareth Southgate's son, everybody's favorite player, but he's not. So we're going to break it down. All right. Well, look, I think you all know by now where I stand on Mason Mount. Absolute fan. Have I interviewed him at Cobham? Yes. Does that make me biased? No. But what I am very appreciative of is his effort and what he gives to the team. I think he's very much like a glue player, fills in wherever he needs to be. Rarely is he played in his strongest position. He's just always there, making the extra run, creating space for others to maybe provide the assist or the second assist or even get the goal. Until recently, that's right, he is now heavily involved in goals and scoring for Chelsea. A couple things I want to just kind of browse through as we go through some of the different things with Mason is look, we are huge fans of Chelsea. We want all teams to support. I just know that Mason is constantly a lightning rod on Twitter, and I'm not 100% sure why. So I just want to kind of lay some things out and say, can't we be appreciative of Mount and happy for what he brings to the team? And the first thing that we want to look at is ChelseaFC.com. That is right. He gave a brief interview after the match in Milan, which he was man of the match after 45 minutes, which we can touch on. And he had just, I think, a little bit of insight of what he's being asked to do by the manager. Obviously, look at that. Man of the match, away to AC Milan in the San Siro, a legendary European stadium, albeit Milan not really the same team as they maybe used to be, but still a massive occasion. Grabs the man of the match in 45 minutes. Obviously, he got the penalty against former Chelsea player Fikayo Tomori, and then got the assist to Aubameyang to absolutely ice this game in the first half, which is massive. Here he is consoling Fick. We love Fick. Look, I got a Fick kit. You know, I got the away kit from a few years back, the light blue. I love Fick, but at the end of the day, like, sorry, buddy. You're wearing the wrong colors, so we're going to move on. Like I said, he got the assist to Aubameyang to absolutely ice it. And here at the very bottom is where we get the quote from Mason himself. He says, "The manager has spoken to me about trying to get in the box and also connecting the midfield to the strikers and being able to move and be free and get assists, then get goals. It's been happening for me over the last couple of games, and I want more. I want to continue doing that, and hopefully that will happen in the next few games too." And I think that we're definitely seeing this. And I would say that Potter hasn't just gone out of his way to help Mason refine his form. He's went out of his way to help the entire attack and a team find their form. We know that Mason is doing, far better because of the attacking chance creation that Potter is putting these guys in. He wants them to play vertical passes. He wants them to play in behind the defense. He wants them to move off the ball. And just having such a more risk-taking and allowing creativity for these top players to show their class, it's working. It's paying off. Right or wrong, Tuchel's system was much more structured and about maintaining possession, so they'd drop it back and recycle if there wasn't something on. I think we saw that, and it was something that frustrated us a little bit. But under Potter, the system is completely different, and these top attacking players are being allowed to go, and it's working. I mean, it's working to the extent. I found this tweet from Dimitri, which I thought was hilarious. It says, "Probably the only thing Frank Lampard, Thomas Tuchel, and Graham Potter have in common as football managers is how much they all rate Mason Mount." And I think you can even put Gareth Southgate in there as well. Like, at what point do we let the narrative go that, like, Mason's not a top player, right? Like, he had a great season last year, slow start this year, but has absolutely picked it up ever since the international break. I mean, having a great match with England as well while he was gone. I mean, he's been in immense form since the manager change. And it just shows that, like, when top players are able to be put out there in situations to succeed, they can do it. So again, like, how many more managers do you need to change your opinion that Mason Mount isn't top class? And I can't wait for him to get that 6-year contract like Reece James, lock him up. He's going to be Chelsea's captain. You might as well just admit it and get behind him. That's where I'm at. Also, want to plug our podcast, The Tinkerman. Joe Tweeds and Yasin Yaz, they went and just broke down a lot of bit of what is Mason Mount's new role under Potter. Look, these two are just like big brains that look at the game in a different way than most of us, and then they can articulate it in a verbal way. Go check out the podcast. As you can see, there's a lot of different things in here, but there's a Mason Mount segment that I think is just top quality. We'll probably clip and throw in, but it's something that you want to go listen to. And again, it's just more content. And again, and it's not from me, right? So you're going to get different opinions, different perspectives about what is working, what's not with Mason. But you know, again, these guys are just really, really smart people. I think most of you know Tweeds, right? Like he's been covering and writing about Chelsea for a long time. Now we've got him in podcast form, and it is working. Obviously, we talked a lot about Mason Mount in the last AC Milan match review podcast that dropped yesterday. And there's a lot in here. I think, look, Nick on our pod, right? We love Nick, and he's definitely one to find flaws with when the system isn't working first. And that's what helps us stay balanced is when he's on it, right? He's giving Mason just like a very honest assessment here. He's saying that he admittedly had a slow start to the season. No one's arguing that. Mason's even talked about it. But he's going to be such a critical contributor under Potter this season. He was simply everywhere against AC Milan. And again, 45 minutes. Imagine if he played in that second half when AC Milan packed up their stuff and just waited it out. I mean, we could have had 3, 4, 5. That's just how good he was. And again, Nick's giving that balanced approach of like, beginning the season, Mace was not Mace. Now we have money Mace. Like, we need to acknowledge the meteoric rise and like the quick turnaround. He like flipped a switch, some things clicked for him, and now we're back to the Mason Mount of old. It's crazy just that so many people want to still ride him and you know, and tear him down when he's such a key contributor. I mean, look at this. At LDN Football saying Mason Mount has the most assists of any English player since the start of the 2021-2022 season with 18. Granted, he's just turned it up in form. And granted, that also talks about how good his season was last year. But you shouldn't pretend like Mason Mount is not a top player. Open play assist was always the thing that he got ragged on. What does he have? 3 in 2 games now? 4 in 3, whatever. He's on it for sure. And then I loved friend of the pod, Naz, here saying, from his own perspective as a Manchester United fan, right? He gains nothing by Chelsea winning personally. He said it's quite remarkable that Mason Mount won man of the match after playing just 45 minutes. Then he gets a quote from Mason and says, "It's been happening for me in the last couple of games. I want more," he said after the match away at AC Milan. And when we get to talk to Naz, you know, Naz has always had a bit of a crush on Mason. Again, as a United fan, he gains nothing from giving credit to Chelsea players. Now, he does have the England biasness where he wants the English national team to win everything. And so Mason is critical to that. But when you think about it, and I think the Milan match, you know, sometimes the 45 minutes is all it took to win. To be fair, that second half was dead, right? Milan were done. Chelsea were happy. If Milan weren't going to push, Chelsea weren't going to push. And the game was won and lost in the first half. Obviously, the red card, 2 goals, iced it, done. But it just shows how absolutely dominant and key he was in that match. And I think thankfully to Dimitri, who we had earlier, he has this McGlockbot who is now showing us passing maps and performances in the Champions League. Like, it is gonna be good. And then I wanted to double down on Naz here. So again, if you aren't following Naz, you need to be on Twitter. Again, he's at the Evening Standard writing about Chelsea full time, and it's great. And I wanted to scroll down a little bit because I think that we got a little bit of insight here. You know, obviously why he came off. He essentially said he got a yellow. Potter was worried how many cards the referee was throwing out and didn't want him to get him sent off, so they pulled him off at half. No risk at all, but again, goal and assist in the first half, absolutely massive. And then I think it's nice to hear like Mason talk about the team, right? To me, Mason is a leader. He's a future captain of Chelsea Football Club. And why would you not be excited about this? Mason talks about the team. He says, quote, "The most important thing was that we won this game. It was a huge game for us in this group. To be leaders at this moment with 2 games left, I'm really positive, and it's looking good for us in this group as well. To come here and win takes a lot. It just doesn't take playing good football. You have to also be mentally strong because their fans play a big part. You have to deal with the crowd, and we did that. And again, I just think that like hearing Mason talk the way he does about Chelsea shows to me that he understands the club. He's been there, since he was 7, 8, right? He's broken through the academy, gone on his loans, came to Chelsea, earned his minutes, and he's absolutely top class. And he's young. He's still only 23 years old. I think some of us forget how much of a leadership role he's taken on in this team. And he broke in, he was 21? So, like, we got him far before he was a complete footballer. And just to see him progress and fight season after season and the progress he's made, I don't know why anybody in their right mind would want to bin him off, write him off, not support him. He came to us as a kid. There are not many 20, 21-year-olds that are playing at top 6 title contending, trophy winning teams. Mason has the guts, he has the mentality, he has the steel spine to be under the spotlight week in, week out and perform for Chelsea. And that's an intangible that not a lot of players have. Reece James has it. It looks like Trevo has it. But there's this strong DNA coming out of Cobham that, again, we should really be looking at and see how it's going. So he's got 4 assists into the 2 competitions, 1.6 XG, 2.3 on the assists. And look at these shot creating actions. Massive, right? And he even has 5 goal creating options, 1 above his assists. Like, we've only played 12 matches and he's been creating 5 goals, right? That's almost 50%. That's almost every other match he's specifically involved in creating a goal. Look, I love FBref, right? Shout out to FBref. Just a little bit of context. You love to see all the green. Is he great at dribbling? No. Is that okay? Yes. We don't need him to be. We have other players that can do that. He's obviously not good in the air and clearances because he doesn't have to be. He plays high up the pitch. And then if you look at some of the similar players, I think you're going to see some people that you have a lot of respect for in here and that are highly creative. And that's what you get with Mason. Again, it's the old adage, if his name was Moutinho, right, he'd be a 100 million pound player and we all love him, but he's not. He's Mason Mount, right? He's English, so he doesn't get the flair and the credit maybe that he's due there. Again, as you can see, ever since he came back from Chelsea, played 37 matches in the Premier League, then 36, then 32, and he's played 8 in 10 out of 10 matches. So I just think that as far as we're concerned, like, Mason is off and running. He is a spine of this team, just like Lampard was. I'm not saying he's the same player. I'm just saying you can rely on Mason and he will provide, for this team consistently. Obviously, the first season, he had 12 goals and assists. Then he went down to 11. Then he burst through under Tuchel last season, being 21 goals and assists, and he's already at 2 in the Premier League alone. Whew. I mean, again, I don't know what else you kind of want from this guy. If anything, you want more from the people around him, and I think we're starting to see that with Aubameyang, with Raheem Sterling, and you're going to see that here as we look at a couple of these different stats. So you guys know how much I love shot creation and the stats like that. But instead of just looking at Mount, I want to look at it from the Chelsea perspective. So again, we're on the Chelsea page for FBref. This is this season's Premier League. Right now, Mason Mount is tied for first with expected assists, since that is what he's doing a really good job of. He has a 1.0 XG, which also puts him towards the top, right? So he's top 3 in XG, tied for first in expected assists, having quite a good season, right? So he's at 2.3. Raheem, which has had an amazing start to the season, is 4.3. But again, Mason is your second most deadly player on the team, statistically saying. Do you have an eye test? Of course you have an eye test, and that's okay. But I want to keep it going. We already looked at the XG from his shot, so I'm going to go down. Again, he's at the top with assists, hilariously with Thiago Silva and Marc Cucurella, which you probably didn't have on your bingo card, being the assisters providing from the back, but there they are. And then lastly, my favorite box to look at as I analyze Chelsea is the goal and shot creation. again, shot creating actions. These are things that lead to the shot. Now, whether it goes in or not is not really up to him. He's created 21 in the Premier League alone this season, having not played in 2 matches. Raheem Sterling also on 21. So if you're saying that Raheem is having a great season as a creator, Mason Mount is right there with him. And he's actually ahead of him on per 90, right? You've got Conor Gallagher up there and Hakim Ziyech, but again, both of them have played limited minutes, so it's not really the same. I mean, we're talking 11 for Conor versus 5 for Hakim compared to 21 for Mason and Raheem. And again, like with Mason, it's coming from open play, which everyone loves to talk about. He's even second from dead balls, right? Is he doing it off the dribble? No, not really. Is he doing it off the shot? Not really. It's coming in the sense of his passing, right? He's getting into positions to set his teammates up, and we're seeing how effective he is. Again, it's coming from passes. I don't know what else I can give you guys, right? Like, I am just a massive fan of Mason Mount. I think we had a brilliant time, getting to interview him. I think that you should all check it out if you want to get an idea of also just like how top he is as a player, as a person. It is one of the greatest people that, we've been able to talk to just because of how freaking cool he is and how nice he is. And like I said, I don't really see a lot of people having, things to complain about when it comes to Chelsea. So again, I'll go ahead and plug this one last time. We did get to sit down and have a great chat with a very young looking Mason, which I think is super funny. You could also say it's a very young looking group of London is Blue guys here as well. We posted it back in 2020, right? So we got to interview him in the fall of 2019. Again, just as he is really broken out into the team. And there's a lot of fun stuff in here, and you just hear his maturity at, what is he, 19, 20 at the time. So treat yourself. I'll put the link in the description, but Mason is top quality. He's the future captain of Chelsea. Let me know what you think in the description. I think I put a pretty strong case out there. Mason is one for the future, one of the best in Europe, and I think he's going to go on to absolute top heights. So anyways, that's my opinion. I hope you enjoy it. Let's get him on that 6-year contract. Get it done, Todd. He's one for the future. We'll take care. We'll be back with a Villa match preview tomorrow. So if you're looking for lineups and predictions, we'll see you tomorrow for that one. Anyways, Tinkerman podcast dropped today. Milan review yesterday. And I don't know, we got something else on the podcast coming tomorrow. So make sure to subscribe down below and join the Discord. I'm out. Have a great day.